What's the most amount of commissions you made in one day versus the other pot?
In one day I made over $1,000, and that happened twice. So
Allahu
alhamdulillah.
Barik. Allahu Barik. $1,000 days.
Take the first step. And if you don't take the first step, then you're gonna stay where you are. You're always learning. You're never gonna be at your best. You're always, even when you get your best, there's still more to learn. And I've learned that from, you, Ayub, and I've learned that from Marwan, that you guys are always continuously developing yourself. That's taught me that a lot of people in this world might feel like, I've hit my peak now. I'm good. Alhamdulillah. I don't need to learn anymore. But hey, you're always a student of something. Your mindset is very important in anything you do. On a weekly basis, we have set goals, and those goals are the most beneficial. They train you to have the best mindset when it comes to life, sales, your family, anything, not just about your career.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we're joined with Hassan, one of our amazing students in the Rizq mentorship. And I thought I'd bring you on today, inshallah, and tell the guys your story. And hopefully, inshallah, inspire one or two people at least to take action, inshallah, and possibly even learn from your story. So, Hassan, you want to introduce yourself?
Alaikum salam, So yes, my name is Hassan Ali. I'm a father of one, and I'm married, and I'm also the client success manager of Rizq Rice, as well as a high ticket closer.
Allahu Barik, Allahu Barik. So, Hassan, I think would be a good way to start this interview by telling the guys your background, where have you come from, and just giving a quick insight in terms of where have you started to, today.
Yeah, I mean, most of my life has been spent working a 9 to 5. I spent working day in, day out, working 40 hour person, making sure I was just getting the minimum wage. That's what I spent my whole life doing. I tried businesses here and there, but it didn't work for me because I got it a lot right. I didn't have any mentorship. I didn't have any guidance,
Yeah.
and it was just me doing something without any real plan or discipline. And then, yeah, came along with the Rice, last year. Alhamdulillah, I decided to join because I was planning to start my own business and everything. But I decided it would be more worthwhile if I do something like this, inshallah.
Okay. Hassan, if you can share some light on it, what was your biggest struggles before coming across remote type of sales? You had a story where you wanted to start your own business and stuff like that, and trying to come up with the money. And, I think it's worth sharing with the guys, like, what's the type of struggles that you actually have went through in the last couple of years before coming across remote sales?
Good question. So I was looking for like business, and I was looking for any kind of work that would allow me to be remote, work from home, and have my own time freedom where I can, go to the masjid, pray salah. And that was key for me. And that was a struggle because in the past opportunities that I was seeking, that wasn't possible. Yes, I could make 10 to 20K a month there, but it wasn't possible. It wasn't possible to be someone who can to be dedicated to the household and be dedicated to my family and to the masjid in the way I wanted to be. So those were the struggles I faced. Another thing I faced before joining Rizq Rise was the struggles of following through and discipline, which Rizq Rise taught me a lot about, and how to be disciplined and how to follow through in everything that you do.
No, that is. How do you think that's so important? Like, how did it play in your life right now, learning these lessons?
Yeah, being able to have discipline is very important because if you do not have discipline, then you're just going to go about your day like you don't care about what you need to do. It's just going to be a goal. And discipline means if you don't do something, then you don't cut yourself some slack. You pick yourself up and say, I should have done this. Why didn't I do it? I'm not a good person for doing it, because that goal might be important to you. Like, for example, the reason discipline was important to me is because I'm not taking care of myself, I'm taking
Mhm.
care of my wife, and I'm taking care of my
Yes.
son. And without having discipline to know that I'm doing that and disciplining myself on working hard, then I want to be in a position where I can take care of them now. Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, that's a good point because I think many people are watching this. Maybe they don't have the same, responsibilities that you have. Alhamdulillah, you have a family, you have a son. It's very important to have that discipline and have an opportunity to be able to have more time dedicated with it. Because before this, you're working like I think working 2 to 3 jobs, correct?
Yeah, I was working 2 jobs, and then I was doing a third like gig job now and again, but like 2 to 3 jobs, 70 to 80 hours a week. That's what I was doing, and I had no time for my salah, I had no time for anything. But even when I was doing that, I still disciplined myself to be able to continuously put in the effort in this community to make sure I learn. So yeah, 70 to 80 hours a week of work, and then anytime I had time to focus on the Rizq Grind course, whether it was an hour, I would make sure I used it, inshallah.
Okay, interesting. So let's fast forward where you actually came across this advice. Maybe you seen an ad. I'm not sure if you just came across it on YouTube or Instagram, whatever it is. But was there any hesitations coming into this? If there was, what were they?
The hesitation was from me. That's it. It was myself saying, no, I shouldn't do this. I guess I came across your ads. I ignored them. I didn't pay attention to them. I was like, yeah, it's just another ad where they tell people to make a lot of income online. I've seen those things before, alhamdulillah. But then the reason I joined is because one of the students for Hudayfa actually cold outreach me. And when he cold outreach me and he's talking about it, he'll say, hey, this might be an opportunity that is better for me. And at the time, I was planning to start my own box trucking business and spend like 10 to
Mm.
20K and getting a truck and getting everything I need to do that. That was my plan. But this plan seemed more like a better model for me. Low cost, barely any investments, and more outcomes where I can spend more time with my family and everything.
100%. I think something that a lot of people don't realize is that when you learn sales, specifically remote high sales, you actually get a lot of skills that build into the future where, inshallah, where you want to start your own business or you want to start your own venture, and literally transfers into these areas because sales is the lifeblood of any business. And if you want to like learn how to, build a business, you need to learn how to run systems. You need to learn how to build a sales team, write your own scripts. So many different things that you need to, learn within a business that sales literally teaches you. Once you actually become a closer and you actually do pretty well and you work on your skill set, you learn a lot of transferable skills that not only transfer into your life, but
Mm.
transfer into other areas as well as your business. On that note, what do you feel like sales has done for you personally in terms of how you communicate, your relationships with other people, your family, so on and so forth? Do you feel like there has been a dramatic change in terms of how you speak and how you actually carry yourself?
Yeah, I feel like sales has changed me a lot in terms of I used to be in sales before, but it wasn't this kind of sales. It was very different. It was tech sales in store and everything, working day in, day out and getting no commission. But still, working on commission basis in sales changed me into someone who is proactive, changed me into someone who is willing to work more for what I want to do. Because when you're working for a wage or a paycheck, you're not going to put in the same amount of work as if you don't know if that paycheck is determined unless you put into the work. And all of these skills you learn in sales, they can impact other areas of your life. Like, for example, there was one time where I was pitching for my own business, and then some brother came along, and he knew about Islam. He believed in everything, but he never taken the shahada. So I just used, a little bit of Egyptian handing on him, and I was able to get him to take a shahada. And I said, wow, that's
Love
because
that.
sales taught me how to handle that in the coolest way. I didn't put any pressure on him. I didn't force him. I just said, hey, what's stopping you? And he said nothing. I said, okay, let's do it. Alhamdulillah. And
100%.
that's what sales
Yeah.
can teach you. It
Allah.
flow into everything.
100%. Yeah, because sales, as you mentioned, is also in dawah. It doesn't mean that you're actually, like, manipulating people into making a decision. Like sales is change. It's helping people realize certain points using skill questions and the art of, carrying your words in a certain manner. Okay. You could have something that can change a person's life, but you don't have to sell it to them. You don't have to convey that thing to them, or they can't see the value that you're actually bringing to them. You don't have the skills to. And this is the thing, because if you really feel like you have a product or service or something that can really change someone's life, or you have value, or you fail to convey it to that person, they're not going to buy it, they're not going to convert. And that's the reality of a lot of businesses or a lot of people. They might have an amazing service and amazing product, but they just can't sell it. They don't know how to like optimize and get to that next stage. So let's get to the fun part, Akhi. Okay, because
Yeah.
obviously, people come with, they want to get into sales. They want to achieve freedom. They want to achieve full flexibility, 100 times, but also to make money. So where have you started, Akhi, coming
Of
into
course.
this space, and where are you currently at right now in terms of like what's the most amount of commissions you made in one day versus the other five?
Yeah, so in one day, I think I made around just over $1,000 in commission.
Love that.
And in my 9 to 5, even when I was working 2 jobs, I wouldn't make more than 250. That's it, because it's hourly. They're not going to pay you to be there for 24 hours. I would if they could, but again, that's taking a lot away from me. In one day I made over $1,000, and that happened twice. So
Long
alhamdulillah.
back, long back. $1,000 days. SubhanAllah. That's crazy. It shows you that like
Yeah,
leverage is a huge factor as well because you're not actually leveraged in terms of your 9 to 5 because you're just paid by the hourly. But in remote sales, it's the complete opposite. You're leveraging your skill to make more money, and hence why a lot of people are overworked. And I'm pretty sure you went through the period as well where you felt you're overworked. Like no matter how hard you work, you're still capped at that salary. You're still capped at that income that you're making every single month. SubhanAllah.
exactly.
Okay. So what are you projected to make
Yeah,
this month then?
exactly.
What's your projected income, inshallah, on a monthly basis moving forward?
Yeah, it's coming to the end of the month now, so there's about 4 or 5 days left in the month. Right now, I'm sitting at around 6K, and hopefully by the end of the month, I should be looking to hit the 8 to 9K mark, inshallah.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. May Allah grant you success. I mean, so where do you see
But yeah,
yourself, Hassan? Where do you see yourself, Hassan, in the next year, 2 years in terms of your success? Because Allahu Akbar, you're one of the most proactive students in the program. You always showed up to the calls, you always ask questions, and this is really what it takes to actually become successful. So where do you see yourself right now with this skill a year, 2 years from now?
potentially in terms of career, I see myself starting my own business and being able to have the skills to successfully build that. Because once you have the skill of sales, You don't need to rely on someone else to sell your product. You can sell it yourself, and that's much better for you. Once you believe and have passion in the product as well as in yourself, in your skills, then you can do that much better. So starting my own business, potentially being able to be in a Muslim country, ideally, inshallah, which is a big goal for me right now.
Allah Barak. May Allah make it easy for you, inshallah. Okay, so I think this brings me to one of my last questions that I have for you. And I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people that are watching this right now that may be inspired by your story. You're a person that has a family, and alhamdulillah, you've still taken that risk to pursue your goals and learn something that can help you get more freedom and time, flexibility with your family. So, what would you say to that person who's watching this right now that possibly is on the fence, possibly just like overthinking, like, should I start that new venture? Should I get started with more sales? Should I book a call? Like, should I do this? Is this even worth it for me? Maybe I don't have the money. Maybe I don't have the skills. I'm not experienced. Like, what would you say to that person?
Take the first step. And if you don't take the first step, then you're going to stay where you are. And yes, it might feel uncomfortable for you, but growth happens when you're not in your comfort zone. And if this is going to take you out of your comfort zone, if it's going to make you feel scared, like you can't do this, then this is where you'll actually be able to do it. And there's examples of students in our communities who came in like they were scared, but they turned their life around and they were able to build success from that. And that fear powers you. That fear drives you to do much better than you think you can do. But that all starts if you take the first step. If you don't take the first step, then you're essentially going to stay where you are. They're not going to make a change. You're not going to achieve your goals and get to where you want to be. Do you want to achieve your goals, or do you want to stay in that place where you still feel scared for the rest of your life? Whichever one you feel like is more suitable to you, whichever one requires you to, then that's what you should do.
Oh, that barakallah fi. One bonus question for you. What's your
Sure.
favorite part? What's your favorite part of the Rizq community? What really stood out for you? What really resonated with you? Or like, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned from here that you'll take for the rest of your life?
You're always learning. You're never going to be at your best. You're always, even when you get your best, there's still more to learn. And I've learned that from, you, Ayub, and I've learned that from Marwan, that you guys are always continuously developing yourself. That's taught me that a lot of people in this world might feel like, I've hit my peak now. I'm good. Alhamdulillah. I don't need to learn anymore. But hey, you're always a student of something. So you should always keep learning. And the second thing is that your mindset is very important in anything you do. On a weekly basis, we have set goals. And those goals are the most beneficial. They train you to have the best mindset when it comes to life, sales, your family, anything, not just about your career.
Love it, man. Amazing. I really appreciate that. Okay, I think we've covered amazing points, and I really appreciate you sharing your story with us today, Hassan. I'm pretty sure at least one or two people have been inspired to take action from your story. And yeah, with that being said, Shabab, if you're watching this right now and you're still on the edge and you do want to get into the remote practical sales space, inshallah, and possibly land a role within the first 90 days and make anywhere between 5 and 10K a month, inshallah, and achieve time flexibility and looking for freedom, then check the links in the description below, book a call, and inshallah we'll see if you're a great fit to join the Rizq family. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.